Hi guys, welcome back to Gardening with Creations by DX & Co. So as some of you guys may remember from the last video, we just planted our fruit trees. And so today we're going to do a pruning video on fruit trees. Let's get started. Okay, so you'll remember we actually planted our apple trees, 2 apple trees and 2 pear trees. So today we're going to do a pruning video on them. And why, you say, should we prune them when we just planted them? Well, it's actually the best time to prune them so that it actually helps with the root growth. So pruning actually reminds the tree to focus on its roots, and it'll also help you get new growth in different areas. So we'll go through that as well today. So actually planting your fruit trees is the best time to prune them. So if you're planning on doing some planting, then you definitely want to go ahead and do some pruning at the same time. Okay, so as I mentioned, planting your tree is the first time you want to do some pruning for sure, if you haven't done it in your pots already, especially if you just bought it from the nursery. So when you're planting is the best time. Other times to prune your tree would be early spring before it starts getting its first buds, or in the fall. Most people prune fruit trees first thing in the spring. So what you want to do is take your tree that looks something like this, and you're looking for a couple of different things. You're looking for aesthetics, meaning how does it look, right? You also need to make the decision on whether or not you are pruning for what they call a central leader. That would be your main stalk going up. So if you plan to have a tall, large fruit tree that you maybe need to get on a ladder and pick fruit from, and you want it to bush out and become this large tree, then you're going to be pruning for what's called a central leader. Now, if you're trying to keep it a dwarf variety, or you've purchased a dwarf variety, then you don't want to prune for a central leader. What you want to prune for is side branches like this. And that's what we're going to be pruning for today. I am actually looking to prune this to keep it very dwarf. I have it in this very large pot. I want to keep it a small size. So we're going to be pruning for that. And then another thing we're looking for today is airflow. Are the branches touching each other? Is there enough airflow for pollinators to get in there and without the branches overlapping? So we're going to start by taking this branch right here, this main trunk, and believe it or not, I'm going to go ahead and look for, see how this branch is a V right here in this crook? I want to go just about an inch above that V. Now I have another one on the back side that looks like it's dying, so I'm going to go ahead and take that out either way. But I want to go to the node that's just above that V, if you will. Let me see if I can get the leaf out of the way here for you. So you see kind of a node that's above that V, and that's where I'm going to start. Now, believe it or not, a good rule of thumb when you're pruning is you actually want to take about 1/3 of your tree out. So when you're all is said and done, you want to take 1/3 of your tree out. Now you can see this particular branch, see how it's on an upward angle like this? Now if I wanted to, if I needed to, I could now make this my central leader by kind of tying it back and reshaping it, and this would become my new central leader. But that's not what we're looking to do. We actually want this one to branch out, but it's actually too high for what I want. So believe it or not, I'm actually going to take that one off right now too. So I'm going to get as close to the stalk as I can and take that one right off. And so now I've got these shaped ones. You see this one's kind of going on an upward angle here. But these ones here are actually going straight out. That one could form larger in the long run, but this one here at the lower base is actually going straight out. Now the problem with a branch going straight out like that is that eventually it's going to be too heavy. If it gets fruit on it, it's going to fold over. You actually want them to go straight up in that vertical like we were talking about before. You kind of want it on that 45-degree angle, if you will, so that way when this thickens, the weight of the branch won't actually break. So I'm going to go ahead and take that lower one off right now and get rid of that. And so now I'm looking for airflow. Do I have overlapping branches? Now remember, this tree is actually at the moment a bit too small for, you know, the pruning to be that big of a deal. But in the spring, on a larger tree, that's what you're looking for. Do I have branches that are crowding each other? Is it going to be hard for my pollinators to get fruit? So we just went from that previous one to now what it looks like now. I'm going to go ahead and let it grow out, grow some roots. What this also does, this pruning encourages lower branches to branch out of my stalk down here. So you really you're encouraging more branches to come on a lower angle from that, and as well as it's going to encourage that root growth. So I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of these pruned here for you, and then I'll show you what the finished product looks like on all of them. Okay, so here's an example of airflow. So I was pruning this next one here. See how tall it was? I took out that much. I know it's scary, but you have to decide whether or not that's what you want, is that central leader or not. I don't. I want to keep these ones small, so I'm really trying to encourage the lower branches, especially since how I'm already off the ground by 2 feet, and I don't want it to be so tall that I can't reach the fruit. So you have to make that decision for yourself. But look how crowded this is, right? So this one and this one, it's overlapping so much that this leaf's not really getting any sunlight. So I think you just kind of have to look at it, and I think if I take out this one here, then I'm going to open up airflow for this one, and I may go ahead and take this one off there, which will open up airflow for this one. So if I just take out those 2 center ones, it'll really encourage these three, if you will, and just allow that airflow in there. So that's what we're looking for. That's what we're talking about when we talk about airflow. Is there overcrowding on your branches? You may think more branches, more fruit. That may be true, but actually more branches can be less fruit because they're not growing properly because they're not getting the sunlight they need for the fruit. The fruit's not ripening. So that's what you want to think about when you're pruning it. And you may cut a branch, take a step back, look at it. How does it look? You're pruning just as much for aesthetics as you are for fruit production. So there we have it. I went ahead and topped all of my trees, pruned them out, these 2 pear trees. Even though this pear tree here was very dwarf, if you recall correctly, it didn't need much taken off of it because it really hasn't taken off like the rest of them have yet. But I topped it anyways to really encourage that root growth. So I took about 1/3 off the top, even though it still stayed small. But I'm really just trying to encourage that root growth. Here's the finished pink lady apple. As I mentioned before, I took out that middle one there and that middle one there, which really just opened those branches up to allow for more airflow. And so I probably could have taken them off altogether and even gone down lower just to kind of encourage those lower branches, but we'll see how it grows out. Maybe I'll reprune these in the fall, but I'll for sure reprune them in the spring. So those are all of my fruit trees, and that's how you prune fruit trees. Now I know these ones are small, so maybe we'll do an update video in the spring, next spring. This is the middle of summer, but we'll do an update video to show you, how to reprune them and how these are going so far. So thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helps you guys understand some of the reasons why you would prune your fruit trees, or some direction to kind of give you on which way you would prune it. Leave some comments down below on what type of fruit trees that you have and what style are you going with. Are you going with the central leader and kind of just pruning off the lower branches, which is plenty okay if you're looking for more shade out of that tree, or you're going a dwarf style and you're just really trying to keep it small and you're going for the branching out rather than the branches going up the center, right? So wanted to just give you guys some tips on that. I hope you guys like this video. Go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it out if you want to, if anybody else has some fruit trees and needs to do some pruning. And as always, guys, I really appreciate you guys watching. I hope you guys are staying safe and enjoying your gardens.